Hello everyone, it's Michelle here. I'm Kiki 1988. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. This is another one of my semi-monthly favorites. So as I mentioned previously, I'm not going to share these every single month. I want to have the opportunity to kind of use these and make sure that I'm also sharing longer term or longer use products. So today's video is a review of items that I have especially been loving over the months of July and August. So we're gonna get right into it. So as many of you may have noticed, I have been going through a lovely purse phase, and that has largely been the majority of the content on this channel. So it only makes sense that I would bring to you in today's video my favorite purse. And of course I can say that I have multiple favorites for many reasons, but I thought that I would show you my favorite multi-purpose purse. So I have the Coach Brooklyn, and I actually have a few in my collection. I do have a Brooklyn 39, which you've seen, which is the tan one. My first Brooklyn purchase was the dark lime, and I did make the mistake of selling the bag rather than trying to learn how to wear it. So if any of you see any Coach Brooklyn dark limes for sale, please save me so I can stop living in angst. But after I sold that bag, I realized that I actually did like the bag, and I just wanted to try in some other colors. So the Brooklyn 28 in black is what I bought for my birthday month last year. And what I have found in my time of owning Brooklyns is that the Brooklyns and the neutrals really, they settle in such a different way. I feel like they take the color in the leather much better. They're softer, they wear well. And I've had this just since February, and here we are in mid to late August. And this bag has softened up so well. I love the beautiful slouch pattern in it. I love that everything just works well. You know, once I get my items in the bag, it just sits on my shoulder. And so unlike when I first got my Brooklyn, where it would kind of slip a little bit, this one does not really require a lot of hands-on work, which is great because I'm done raising kids. And there's something about when you no longer have dependent kids that it's just like, let me own that. There's something for me that no longer having dependent kids, I just don't want dependent items. I don't want dependent purses. I don't want dependent dogs. I don't want dependent friends. I don't want dependent men. Everything has to be independent at this point right now, like, because I'm just enjoying the fact that I have more time and energy, and that does include my purses. But I love, love, love this Brooklyn 28 in black. And even though I have purchased it in other colors and I love them as much, you know, I've done the distressed Brooklyn. As mentioned, I have the Brooklyn 39 in tan. I have the Brooklyn in bluebell. And I am currently investigating potentially buying another Brooklyn this fall. So the black is honestly the most versatile for me because I don't have to think too much about how I can dress it, whether I'm dressing it up or dressing it down, and I really can wear it year round. The black Brooklyn I have dubbed as my city bag because I had some city tags made, and I just feel like I like the way that they look on this bag. So this color, I don't know if this is necessarily dark lime, but this has the city of Dallas, and I had it done in gunmetal. And then my sales associate gifted me the city of Chicago, which is in gold. Both of those have a gunmetal hang tag. I have a cute little Rexy charm that I have purchased, which is actually just meant for jewelry, but I love the way that it accents these bags without being too much. And then finally, after much deliberation and delay, I did finally purchase one of the Coach chains, and I did want to get the triple chain, which I've just hooked here with a key ring that I had purchased on Amazon previously. And I just love this bag. Like, I look at it and like the aesthetic, I'm like, that is so me. It's a little classy, it's a little chic, it's a little clean, it's a little edgy, and I would wear this anywhere and everywhere. Well, I honestly just love this bag because obviously I would just put it on with any outfit. Today I'm wearing a very casual outfit where I've got just honestly an H&M Basics tee, some jean shorts that I found at Target on sale. I have some black jelly sandals that I got on final sale from Steve Madden. And then I just paired it with my black, well, technically transparent gray cat eye glasses from the Coach outlet. And this is my dressed up, dressed down look. And I love this because I get to enjoy being comfortable, but I'm still, you know, work ready. I can just pick up and go run errands or get out of the house for whatever I need to do. And I feel like the bag really just adds a nice little upgrade for me. So this is one of my favorites. In here, I do have a couple of my other favorites I'm going to share for today. So I had previously purchased the Essential, I think it's the Coach Essential card holder wallet in Bluebell, which you've seen with some of my other bags. And I have been wanting to get that wallet in another color, but I just couldn't decide. Like, I've always wanted to have like a classic or classy brown wallet. But I was like, ooh, do I want honey or do I want maple? And I didn't, like, I like the maple, but I don't like that it has that contrast stitching. And so I was leaning towards the honey, but by the time I was willing to consider the honey wallet, the Coach summer sale had already passed and nobody had it in store. I had just stopped by to get my chain accessories recently, and my sales associate was like, hey, we actually do have a few honey brown wallets in. And so I was like, you know what, that is my sign. So I went ahead and got the Essential card holder wallet in honey brown. And I've just paired all of my fun accessories with the Brooklyn for today. I love, love, love this wallet. And I feel like the brown is such a timeless, classy look. And the honey brown especially, I love that it's just like a little cool, a little warm. It has very neutral tones in it. I can see it going with many of my bags. And I do love the look of the honey brown paired with the maple brown, like just a very rich chocolatey browns. This doesn't have like maximum card space, which is fine. But what I love about it is that it has this beautiful elongated slot for your dollars. So when you do have dollars in there, it's easy just to get them in and out, keep them organized and find them. I don't currently have the coin pouch on the back of it, as I just have it in my snap pocket here in the bag. But love that, and I was glad I did not miss out on that. Recently, in another video where I had done a what's in my bag of the Marge Sherwood bowling bag, I had featured some pouches that I recently picked up, and I misspoke in calling them Studio 6. The name of the brand is actually Society 6. And this is honestly my favorite one in the bunch, which I was surprised. I thought I was gonna be head over heels in love with the orange, which I like, but this unique jellyfish pouch with the poppy flowers, and the green, it just has a sleek, vintage, chic vibe. And I have honestly been carrying this for the last like week. But I love the Society 6 pouches because they sell them in 3 different sizes. This is the small, they have a medium, and then they have a large, which actually can hold up to an iPad. They're very inexpensive, and they have something like over 20 different pages of pouches. And so for me, it was an opportunity to have a little bit more design, a little bit more pattern, versus just waiting for Coach to set out something else that I wanted to purchase. So I've been loving this, and I've been using this as my EDC. I do also love it because it's fabric. It is a little more flexible and accommodates whatever items I put in there. Okay, so that is it for my favorite bag for July and August. And as I said, I've had this since February. I will do a year-end review of this for like a longer term review. If you haven't bought a Brooklyn yet and you're considering it, I definitely recommend that you try and find one. I think the Brooklyn is here to stay for a while as we're heading into the 2nd year of Brooklyns being on the market. One thing that I have loved and taken advantage of is that as they're rotating through seasonal colors, you are now able to find them discounted. As I mentioned, I had got my Brooklyn 39 for nearly $200 off, technically $198 off. So I got it for $297 instead of $495. And then I was able to also get my Brooklyn Bluebell on sale, and I got it for $177 instead of $295. So never afraid of a deal. There's so many options, there's so many colors. And I'm gonna just say that I think that the Brooklyn is one of the best bags that Coach has out right now, because I love the quiet luxury look of it. I love the minimal hardware, I love the minimal branding. And these bags just work so well with so much. And then of course, everybody loves to, right, dress them up and, you know, make them personalized and unique. So let's keep going. So for the remainder of the items in today's video, I'm going to just pop a picture up on the screen. That way I can just talk to you about the points of the items, why I really like them, why they're my favorites, and I won't be distracting myself by having them in my hand and all that kind of stuff. All right, so first on the list, I know that as we get into the hot months, you know, it's so important to have a good body wash. And I do watch a variety of different channels, especially as I've been doing some of my own personal research for my signature fragrances. One thing that I've considered is I've kind of listened to a lot of different, you know, content creators and what have you talk about fragrance, is that there seems to be 2 different types of categories of people who go into fragrance. Half of us as women seem to lean towards having fragrances that complement each other. And when I say fragrances, I mean it starts with your body wash, to your lotion, to your body oil if you use it, to your perfume, you know, and sometimes even your hair mist if you use one. And then there's another half of us that just like mix and match and do whatever. I'm somewhere in the middle and I go back and forth because I don't necessarily want everything to have the exact same scent. But I do realize that I enjoy having more neutral scented, like cleansing and moisturizing body products. So that way when I put my perfume on, I'm able to smell the perfume. So one of the body wash brands that I've come across that I've really been loving is Method Body Wash. And you can get them just about anywhere now, whether it's Walmart, Ulta, Target, Amazon, or online. They're not the cheapest. Like I think a bottle on average is somewhere between $7.50 to $9. What I love about Method is that not only are they a clean brand, and not only do they have a number of really great scents that aren't intoxicating, but a little bit goes a long way, and they're water soluble products. So they don't create near as much soap scum buildup on, in your bathrooms, but then they also don't like contribute to clogging your drain up. I literally just put like a dime size amount on a loofah and I can cover my whole body. If I'm shaving, I put just a little bit more and I use that. And it's a great, great product. I really like some of their, I want to say Wind Down is one of them. They have one that's like coconut milk. And then recently they had a seasonal one that was in celebration of like Jazz Festival. So it had like a coconutty musk scent to it. Then I paired that with my go-to lotion, which is, a cocoa shea butter. And then that for me creates a perfect base to not only feel really clean, it's very moisturizing, but then it complements and goes well with all of my perfumes. So that brings us right to my next favorite, which is the Jo Malone perfumes. I know I have talked about them as I've begun exploring in them. I know a lot of us look at Jo Malone like, oh my gosh, it's so expensive. But I always argue with fragrances, especially now that I've done my own personalized testing, that a product that has longevity and a little bit of a higher price is so much more worth it than a product that has a low wear time and you have to constantly respraying. To me, it's valuable to be able just to spray in the morning and have that fragrance subtly stay with me as I go throughout my day, as I wash my hands, as maybe I, perspire just a little bit, and to know that that fragrance is still there. And it's not something that I'm totally nose blind, but it's also not something that is overwhelming other people. Some of my favorite fragrances from Jo Malone this summer have been the Sakura Japanese Cherry Blossom. It's a much lighter scent, so I use it more for days that are like really, really hot where I know I'm gonna probably perspire a little bit. And when we sweat, we reactivate the perfume, so I don't want it to be overwhelming. But I also really like the Sakura Cherry Blossom for like a work professional setting where I don't want somebody to maybe smell some of my more sensual scents that I have. My hands down favorite though for the summer, which I featured in several of my videos, is the Beach Blossom. You can buy the full-size bottle from Jo Malone, Dillard's has them, but you can also find the travel size, which I think is like $32 or $38 at Sephora, if that's something that you want to trial. And that's something that I have really enjoyed, is being able to trial them. Jo Malone also does sell like a discovery set, which I think comes with like 4 or 5 for like $100. So you get like a more of a purse-sized perfume, but again, you don't need a lot of it. I just spray my pulse points and I'm good to go, and maybe one refresher throughout the day. So even like my bottle that I got this summer of the Beach Blossom, I think it's actually just like a 1.8 ounce bottle. I'm not even halfway done with that, and I wear that almost every day. So love it. I have told you guys so many times, and I will continue to tell you guys that I love the Merit lipsticks and lip oils because they are such another clean brand, but they're very moisturizing, and they have so many colors that work with so many different skin tones. And for me, being mixed, I feel like sometimes I'm literally two people, where in the wintertime, I'm like my lightest white girl version of myself. And in the summertime, I progressively get more tan, especially as I'm running more. And so I have like neutral and cool undertones. So I have to change like the color of my tinted moisturizer. I have to change the color of my lip products. And sometimes that can be frustrating because I don't want to have 2 full sets of makeup. But with Merit, because their products do play so well for a variety of skin tones, I don't have to have so many multiples. They have a great selection of colors. They work for a variety of skin tones, and they're kind of more like that clean girl aesthetic makeup where you're not feeling like you're just, doing a paint by numbers face. Staying in line with lip products, I had heard a lot about lip tints and really wanted to try some. I've heard wonderful things about the Clarins lip oils, but I didn't want to spend $30 on a lip tint for it to just be another product. And so instead I decided to go ahead and try the e.l.f. lip tint, which I think I paid, I don't know, I think they're like $5, no more than $8. But I got the Cherry Cola since that was one of the top recommendations, and I absolutely love it. And my favorite color to pair it with is my Merit L'Avenue lipstick, and then like for a night out, I'll put my Merit Sangria lip oil on top of it, and it's just beautiful, rich, emblazoned, like brownie red that just complements my skin tone so well. And I love the e.l.f. lip tint because even as you go throughout the day, whether you're talking or you're sipping on your drink or what have you, the lip tint stays, and so your lips don't have such a wide variation in the coloring. And then when you're done eating or drinking, you can just quickly reapply the top lip product. And for $5 from e.l.f., that was definitely worth it. I may try the Clarins lip tints down the line. I don't know yet. Obviously, I'm in love with Merit. And I have recently watched a video from Classic Kina. If you guys don't follow her, you definitely should. She does a lot of favorites, a lot of product reviews, a lot of healthy stuff, and just some vlogging. But she had recently tried the Merit Tinted Moisturizer, and it gave a really good review. And I thought, you know what, maybe I'll try it. I have been wanting to try a Merit all over face product, but I was using the e.l.f. Sun Glow, I think it is, like a tinted sunscreen, and then I primarily have been using the Bare Minerals. But the Bare Minerals, it just, you know how you have products that you feel like just kind of like sit on your skin, or you're like painting the top layer of your skin, even though it's supposed to be a moisturizer and it doesn't like mirror your skin? I feel like that about the Bare Minerals, but I kept using it because that was the only product that I could really use that wasn't a full foundation that matched my skin well and didn't clog my pores. That is until I tried the Merit Tinted Moisturizer, and that's actually what I'm wearing today. And I love it because a little bit goes a long way. It has one of those great like air pumps, but it's in a tube. And it's literally just like, I would say maybe the amount of like the tip of my fingernail, and it covers my whole face. Of course, it's buildable if you want to add more, but I really feel like it marries my skin and it settles in quick. And when it dries, my skin feels flexible, like it feels like I'm wearing my skin. And I love that it doesn't add like sheen, and I feel like my skin is very natural. So that way I'm not having to buy all these different setting sprays to either tone down the shine in my skin or to add shine. I just use my classic dewy setting spray from e.l.f. and I get a very natural look, which I love. So the Merit Tinted Moisturizer is definitely a recommendation if you haven't tried it yet, and if you're conscious of wearing a sunscreen like I am, but also want something that is a makeup product as well, I would definitely recommend it. Keeping in line with moisturizers, I have had a fun time exploring hand creams, and I've largely doubled down to really loving the L'Occitane hand creams, specifically the ones that are the hand and nail cream, or the ones that have almond oil, because I find that they do a really good job of moisturizing my cuticles, which for me is a big thing because my cuticles do grow very quick. I'm also prone to hangnails and just like dry nail beds if I don't have a good moisturizing hand product. I do make a point of putting hand cream on every time after I wash my hands, but you know, even L'Occitane at $32 for a big tube, you run out of it fast. So what I started doing is using Trader Joe's during the day for the most part, and then I use the L'Occitane hand cream as my nighttime application. So I'll put a good amount on it and let it just kind of soak into my nails. But I was so happy to find that they had a small supply of the Citrone, I think it's the Citrone Lumenciana, which is one I had tried some while back. And I think it's a seasonal fragrance that comes and goes. But the L'Occitane in the mall near me had some, and she was willing to separate it from a gift set to let me buy it. And it's just this beautiful citrusy smell. And this particular hand cream does have the almond oil in it, which means I don't have to then use like a cuticle cream or cuticle oil on top of that. So I definitely recommend L'Occitane hand cream. If you're like me and you don't want to buy several $30 tubes of hand cream per month, I would suggest pairing it with the Trader Joe's, as they are very similar. All right, another favorite, which I don't have today because I just got my nails done like 2 days ago, is this new cat eye look. I have featured several shorts on my videos, and you've probably seen my fingernails in several other videos, but I love the look of cat eye. And for myself, these are actually my natural nails. I don't do tips, I don't do anything extra. I just go get dip done on my nails. But I find, and I think it's because of the hand creams that I use and the amount of times that I wash my hands in a day, that the typical top coats would peel very quickly, and so I'd have to go get my nails redone, at least just the top coat, to get a refresher. But when the cat eyes came out, my nail technician was like, you might want to try these. The cat eye top is actually just a top coat that has like medical particles in it. They use a magnet to create a certain design. But the cat eye top coat, it just creates this nice shiny look without doing too much. You don't have to have glitter, you don't have to have all these extra designs. But what I really love is that the cat eye top coat is much longer lasting. I don't have any issues with the top coat peeling or needing to get it refreshed. And this last time when I had my silver nails, they actually lasted for 4 weeks before I had to go get my nails done again, which is the longest that I've been able to go in between sets. And that's what I'm trying to work towards, because the longer you go in between getting your nails done and the less drilling and soaking that, the healthier your nails are. So I was just very pleased about that. I'm taking a quick break, so I've got the ombre nail style right now. And then I'll do some cat eye colors for the fall, because they have some beautiful colors that I just can't wait for. All right, so moving to that kind of next category, I have been having such a fun time mixing metals. When I first started wearing like real metal jewelry, and I mean like silver, white gold, whatever, I primarily lean towards silver and white gold, but at certain times of the year, it kind of like washes me out. So then I started using yellow gold, and I really love yellow gold, and that's primarily what I still wear. But what I've really been enjoying is doing little highlights of silver. So every once in a while I'll put like in some small silver hoops. I've got a few silver rings, some white gold rings, silver bracelet or white gold bracelet, and then just letting that be the highlight along my yellow gold jewelry that I wear. And I feel like that it makes a nice statement, and it's fun to like pair it up and pair it down. But then also I've been doing some mixed metals when it comes to like my bag accessories, or the metals on my bag versus the metal on my accessories. And I love that because it's allowing me to feel less confined by what I'm pairing, either in my personal style or my bag style. And I just love using the things that I have and not being wasteful. So mixing metals, whether it's in my jewelry or my bags, definitely a plus, and I definitely recommend it. So I have talked a little bit about kind of exploring some of the things at H&M. And again, this is also a recommendation / reminder that I got from Classic Kina, because I haven't really been to H&M recently. Like I buy like work essential pieces there sometimes, like when I'm looking for more of a formal trouser pant, or I think they're really good at selling a lot of like straight leg pants, which I sometimes like to wear, especially in the work setting, or if I'm gonna be wearing like these pants all day long in a conference. Recently, as I was taking my daughter's clothes shopping, I was looking around and I found some just really cute classic shirts. So this is actually one of them, and it's like this beautiful blue-gray. And typically I struggle with like oversized or like crew neck t-shirts, because I not only have broad shoulders, but I have this. And sometimes it just doesn't fit me well. This one is actually just a classic medium size. Sometimes I'll roll the sleeves up on it. And this isn't super long. It's like, I think when I pull it out, it kind of hits me, just like at my hips. But it's great just to do like a little tuck, so you can have like that little feature spot in your outfit. And these wash so well. They're incredibly soft. And I think that this shirt was like $8 or $9. So I'm always trying to think, like, if this is just a basic shirt, and if this is just something I'm gonna be wearing as I work from home or as I run errands, I don't need to spend a lot on it. And I've gotten a few other basics. I've got some other tank tops recently. I bought a blue button-up collared shirt, which is gorgeous. And I've been searching for one of those forever. I had no idea I was gonna find it for $20 at H&M. And then I even got some of their cute like sweat, like track style shorts. I love them because they have a nice, they're not too long, not too short, but they have a nice cut that kind of hugs your booty cheeks. So, as a mature woman, I don't need my behind sticking out. And I love those to just have like a nice casual work day in. And again, I think the shorts are maybe like 12, the button-up collar shirt was like 20, and the classic tanks are like $8 or $9. And so you can get a good bang for your buck. They wash well, and I haven't had any problems from them yet. So if you haven't tried out any of the H&M basics, I definitely recommend that. I'm gonna switch categories a little bit. I know a lot of us are always thinking about like, how can I improve my diet? What are some things that I need to do? And I thought I would share some of the things that I have been using for quite a while that have made a big difference in my gut health, because that was a big part of like my feeling very sluggish and like, just drained. I'm not going to go too far into it from like a scientific or like healthcare standpoint, but I definitely recommend that you talk to your doctor and maybe do some personal research. But if you know anything about pH, the perfect neutral pH for your bodies, and also coincidentally for water, is a 7. Typically, men tend to be, I think, more acidic, and women tend to be more alkaline. And you'll find that shows up, especially as a woman, in like your flora, right? Which is like your vaginal health. And your vaginal health and your gut health are very closely tied together. One of the things that I have really been focusing on over probably the last decade of my life is to get more and more acidic foods out of my diet and to find more neutral, waterful things I can bring into my diet. So whether that's like fruits and vegetables that are waterful, cucumber, watermelon, berries, those types of things. But also I've been trying to cut out stuff that bothers my system, like coffee, an excess amount of dairy products, caffeine, and some other stuff. One of the things I've really found is a great substitute though, because I like to have a good little drink to enjoy, is Olipop. And I don't recommend all of them. Some of them are really nasty, but I have really found myself enjoying both the cream soda flavor and the classic root beer flavor. And they do have some purportedly live probiotics in them. You do keep them in the fridge, and I'll typically drink like one a day, and I'll actually just drink it with my lunch. And so I feel like that actually really does a good job of helping me to digest my meal properly. And I also feel like I've noticed a difference in just like healthy, more consistent intestinal motility. One thing that I've been doing in line with that is I actually started buying kimchi, which is essentially fermented cabbage. I believe it does have some other, like maybe vinegar and some things along with it. And then sometimes you'll find kimchi blends that also have a little bit of cucumber. You do want to make sure that the kimchi you purchase is refrigerated, because that is what keeps the enzymes and the probiotics alive. Is they are living, so they have to be refrigerated. I actually typically just buy mine from Costco, and I've really been enjoying that. And I will literally add it to anything. But my favorite thing is to like dress up a noodle bowl, add some kimchi, some other vegetables, and then a little bit of protein. And that is like one of my favorite dinners. And I just feel like it really has cut down and helped with like post-meal bloating, and in general, like helping to cut down like on cravings, right? Because I'm not feeding the candida so much. Last year, I challenged myself to quit coffee altogether. And I will tell you that was a little bit hard, because I quit it, I want to say, in December. And this year, I think I've only had 2 cups of coffee. And I find that I really just don't have the taste for it like I used to. While there were several health benefits that came from that, I will honestly tell you the real reason that made me finally cut it out is I realized like I was drinking so much of it that I was starting to notice like some light yellowing of my teeth. And I was like, my teeth have never been yellow. So I'm not drinking coffee. But sometimes you do want something to replace that. I love the nostalgia of like sitting on the front porch and having a cup, or going to a coffee house just for like conversation. And so I have switched over to matcha, and I can't drink typical milk. I've tried a few other milk alternatives, but I found that I really like my matchas made with almond milk. And then recently I went ahead and bought my own powder and whisk and started making those at home. So I'll make like a strawberry or strawberry white chocolate matcha. Since it's summertime right now, I'll do the ice, but I'm also looking forward to doing those warm lattes. You can find matcha, like I think I got my packet for like $7. I just at the grocery store, and that saves me from spending $6 or $7 a day at the coffee shop. And matcha is essentially ground tea leaves, so it's full of antioxidants and it's supposed to be very healthy for you. And so I love that it's not just like a drink, but it's a healthful drink. All right, and then the last item for my July and August favorites is my book of randoms. I also refer to this as my commonplace. And there are so many things that I keep in this notebook. Honestly, I have reminders of my favorite self-cares. I have reminders of the things that make me happy. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of gratitude journaling in here. I'll write my goals. I'll write random lists. I'll write grocery lists. I'll write my wish lists. I'll just, carry this in my purse, honestly, and anything that pops in my mind that I don't want to forget, I'll write down. People love to use their phones for those things, but I'll tell you, your memory retention is so much better when you actually grab a pen and grab a paper, because not only are you writing that, but you're reading it as you write it, and then you're also incorporating the tactile aspect of writing. So it really helps to not only take less things off of your mind that you have to remember, but it actually also then reinforces your memory. So it's a great memory tool, it's a great organizational tool, and I have gotten so much more accomplished as I've been carrying this around, and I love that. I love making the best use of my time and making the best use of each day. So I hope you guys enjoyed July and August's favorites. Thank you guys so much for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.